Hi, friends. Welcome to another Suqqu video. I am happy to present this because Suqqu and I had a break, and it was simply because I should have reached out to them in finding out what happened to the email. To make a long story short, my previous correspondent at Suqqu, who's no longer with the brand, and I found that out with the reply answer being like, hey, no longer a part of Suqqu, please email Ayako. And I know Ayako, and she was kind enough to email me. But because Gmail does this thing where they recognize external emails, like this comes from the UK, is it safe? I'm like, of course it is. I feel like they push down those emails and they don't appear in my primary mailbox. So of course Ayako had emailed me about the Luster Eyes liquid eyeshadow, that entire autumn winter collection she had emailed me about, and I failed to reply in time, so I didn't receive PR for that collection. And when I had emailed Ken and finding out that he was no longer with the brand, it was because mom liked one of their skincare lines, and I thought, you know what, I haven't heard from them in a while, let me just see how they're doing. Maybe they have a skincare kit lying around the office that they could send to mom. You know what I'm saying? So I had emailed Ayako requesting the skincare, and then she had told me, hey, I had emailed you about the autumn winter collection and we didn't hear from you. I'm like, oh my gosh, so that's what happened. So fam, if you don't hear from someone that you've been corresponding with for quite some time, it's probably because of Gmail hiding your emails, and I should have reached out long before just to find out what was happening. And of course Ayako was so kind to prepare a package, not only with a few items from the autumn winter collection, which already released late July, early August, but she did include the new foundation, as well as the 20th anniversary collection in the gold compact. So we'll get into those, as well as a few hold on, let me get it. Of course I had to mess up the blush, because when I was trying to pick it out from the drawer in an awkward manner, nail gash in the powder. It's fine though. We'll get into that compact as well as the official name, the 20th anniversary face compact. This is in shade 101. Look at the embossing, right? We'll get into the details. All timestamps will be down below. I actually had filmed with a few of these products, but it was just a little chaotic. I look back at the footage, I'm like, we gotta do this again. So let's first get into the foundation, which I believe released already today, maybe? Oh my gosh, where's the date? No, will be available from the 7th of September at Selfridges, Harrods, and Liberty London. Okay. Suqqu is set to reach new heights this autumn 2023 with 2 new complexion products, continuing the brand's history of luxurious base makeup that has earned a cult following. So I believe they reformulated the foundation because the previous release was packaged in that beautiful black jar. I had both 035 and 040. I requested 040, but I'm kind of wishing I asked for a sample for 050 because as you can see, the body's a little tan in the face, not so much because I've been wearing my San Diego hats all season, and I could have asked for 050. Actually, Amra from Amra's beauty blog on Instagram as well as YouTube, we're kind of the same complexion, and she also requested the jar for 040 but had requested samples in 035 and 050. So maybe Amra could show a 050, and which is fine since that's kind of like my summer color, and since we're going into autumn anyway and winter, we're gonna look sallow. It's fine. I'll deal with the 040. With introduction out of the way, I think it's time for you to come in a little closer. That's enough. Let's get into the Suqqu foundation details. I did not receive the loose powder, which is fine. It's also reformulated. It has this crazy technology. Let me see here. Amino acid based powder. Particles are less angular than sheet type powder and have a smoother feel in the skin. If that looks amazing, but it is kind of, it's like a light pinky color, which is conducive to brightening, but because of my skin tone and my skin color, I think that will leave me looking a little too ashy, a little too light, right? So it's totally fine. I think I have a more translucent powder from Suqqu, but for the foundation, it's gonna cost us around $90. It's expensive. Suqqu based products are usually expensive. This was sent to me in PR. I totally understand, like, look, Alicia, excuse me. Foundation nowadays have been great across the board. So if you want to hold out on this, I totally get it. SPF 25 or SPF 30 depending on the shade. For texture, dense texture, and smoothness for a refined glow. Containing luxurious oils, the texture is rich but never cakey and glides effortlessly onto the skin, leaving it silky and smooth. They want you to know they're gonna leave you smooth. Formulated to provide the unique feeling and smoothness of a cream that lasts all day long. I think we're looking medium to heavy coverage, but you don't need a ton. I had tried this foundation already like two times. Yes, 2 times. I think it's a solid medium coverage, but can be high coverage if you apply a little bit more. It adheres well to the skin while keeping the makeup feeling comfortable for hours. Formulated with powders and a well-balanced blend of fine grade clay minerals, which is why it has a little bit of a soft matte finish, I found. The new foundation results in a refined makeup look with a radiant finish that lasts hours without smudging and sacrificing richness. Transforms into glow over time, so it might look soft matte upon the initial application, but the wear evolves over the course of several hours, where it doesn't look greasy or shiny, it just has more of a radiant effect. Blending with your skin's natural oils, the foundation transforms over time to elevate your makeup look, providing a beautiful, long-lasting finish with a lovely glow and luster. A couple of details here about my skin. I am undergoing a skin sobering journey where I have not used skincare for more than 30 days now. So my skin is on, I believe, the normal to dry side. And when I did apply the Suqqu foundation on bare skin without any prep, it did take on more of a soft matte finish. And over the course of the day, I would say it still appeared soft matte, but it definitely turned into more of like a radiant finish, not dewy, 100%. So if radiant for you, you kind of step away because you're not sure how that's going to work. I think it had more of a soft focus finish, did not look greasy and dewy. It might look maybe a little more radiant dewy if you're already starting on the more oily part of the spectrum. But when you hear the words rich and smooth and cream, it might lead you to believe this might not be for oily skin types, but it could be, especially if you powder before or after. So let's get into the actual foundation. Here is the jar. You have the frosted glass base and a gold mirror top with the beautiful curves here. Suqqu etched on the cap. You have all the details here on the bottom. 040 is a medium tan with a yellow beige undertone. And of course, with jar foundations, they tend to be a little messy, right? That is one of the cons, I think, with these types of foundation setups. You have the lid here, but it just came off because the foundation, just look at that texture. Isn't it extraordinary? Each jar comes with its own spatula. And here again, I will swatch the shade 040, looking medium tan with a yellow beige undertone. On me now, it is a dead on skin match. It will look a little off on camera to you because again, my body is not 040 right now. So 050 probably would have been a better match for me now, but I have Suqqu blushes on standby to adjust the coloring a little bit so it doesn't look like a totally different shade on my face. So here is the skin condition now, and I wanted to experiment today by applying some allies of skin first. Although I am on a skin sobering journey, I take off all skincare at night. I don't apply moisturizer anymore and just let my skin be. If anything, I'll apply a little Vaseline, like I will probably later when I wash my makeup off with my grandma's lye soap. That's the brand name. So we're gonna pack this on and discover together what type of finish this prep will leave us. And again, a little goes a long way. You will want to cover your face with this stuff because it's just a beautiful texture. Hold yourself back a little bit. Let's start with just this. Let's grab our beloved Suqqu mirror. A couple of swipes here. Majority of the foundation I'll apply on the center of my face, and I'll just apply very little here on the forehead, because the forehead, I think, is where you see texture the most on me anyway, especially between the brows. And I've been using Sonia's Jumbo Base brush to blend this out. It is a synthetic and natural hair blend. It's interesting because when you see the foundation swapped on the skin, or swatched on the skin, I should say, it appears light, but it kind of just melts into the color of my complexion, which I find fascinating. And I think Suqqu is incredible with the color science. And my apologies, how many shades do we have in all of this foundation? 24 shades. We got 24 shades from light to deep. And I think they do pretty well for a Japanese cosmetic brand, but Suqqu has been around for a long time. And I think they're trying to cater to as many skin tones as possible. And the actual skin colors in the foundation are quite lovely. You know, they really, for me, for my undertone, yellow beige works. Sometimes I go from neutral, olive golden. I really can't nail what undertone I actually am. But the yellow beige undertone from Suqqu work, because they do also have, I think, like a pink beige or something like that. Perhaps that's like their more cooler undertone. But look at my skin. So again, although it is a little light for me now, considering how tan my body is, as we get deeper into the autumn-winter season, it will look more appropriate for my complexion. I wanted to show you photos of when I wore this Suqqu foundation yesterday. This was around 3 hours after I applied it in the morning. It was rather hot, but I was outside maybe for around an hour before I got into the gym. Of course, the gym is air conditioned, but this was post my training. So I got a little sweaty, but not so much on my face. Perhaps there was a little heat that was beginning to build on the facial skin, but I just wanted to show you how it looked, and I do enjoy how it wears over the course of several hours. The differences I observe here from initial application, from applying it straight on bare skin versus on some moisturizer, you can detect that there's a little more radiance here on the cheekbones, and I do prefer it on moisturizer. I think it's best that you prep your skin first before any foundation, because it does smooth out the skin, especially if you're not using skincare like myself. The skin will appear a little drier, and I do feel it helps maneuver the texture better on your skin. It makes it more mobile, better to blend, especially if you're using a sponge and not a brush like I am. For concealer, I just went in with my Lancome. Suqqu does have concealer, but the one that I actually have 3. They've long expired. I probably should get another one. Maybe I could ask my Suqqu contact Aya if they have any lying around. I'm gonna dot this here, and I do like how it blends with the Suqqu foundation in 040. And actually, I wanted to use the face powder to set, but when we get to the 20th anniversary collection, we'll take on that demo then. I wanted to now go into some shade comparisons to other foundations that I have been using, starting with the House Lab Skin Tech. This is in shade 330, takes on a medium olive golden undertone, and you can see this has a little more depth of color than the 040. So this is more of like my summer color, and that is more my winter. But I do love the overall tone of the foundation, and I feel the Suqqu one finds itself in my foundation family. This is from the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow, number 11, taking on more of a neutral undertone overall. And the color itself, similar, but you see there's like little more beige there from the Suqqu, and it's hard to tell if the Hourglass is more neutral or not. You probably have to let it, I have to let it dry down a little bit. And then we have Danessa's Skin Blurring Balm in number 6. I believe this was like neutral as well, medium tan neutral. So that is the blurring balm. Sometimes I would apply number 7 on the outer perimeters of my face just to even out the complexion a little bit. To add a little warmth to my skin, I wanted to apply the Suqqu powder In both 128, so I had 128 on standby, and I think it was also 137. 137 is a little more reddish. And let's see here, we have, no, I picked this out because this was 127, but I think it's from another collection. 128 has a little more of that red tone going on, and 137 even more so. Yes, so let's see here. Yesterday I applied Pat McGrath's Desert Glow. That kind of evened me out a little bit. But here, let's go first in with 128. I have my Hokuro. Well, you know what? Hold on. Hold on. Why don't we just use the Suqqu powder brush? Just get all over up in there, dipping in, yes, and tossing it here on my forehead. There we go. We're getting some color. The blushes included in the recent autumn winter collection for 2023 looked very light on the press kit, right? The press release info flyer. So the blushes that released last year, I think, are more suitable for my skin tone in terms of just providing a little more warmth overall. And I think this color, which I will have listed down below with number and name, I'm not sure if it's still available, but that already I think is helping the situation. I also wanted to try the melting blush in the shade 07. This is more of like a wine, which kind of reminds me of Gucci's Warm Berry in 06. This has a little more pink, and Warm Berry is a little more plummy red. So we could apply a little bit of that over the 128, and that I feel is just a lovely shade. This is the melting powder blush, and the previous one was the pure color blush. That was all powder, where the melting is like a fusion between cream and powder. I overdid it. And when that happens, just have your foundation brush or sponge on standby. You simply can just stamp around the edges, and that will take away a little bit of the color, but it won't look splotchy, right? This is just to kind of fix it. That's pretty. We like that. Not too bad. So we've adjusted the color a little bit. I could have went in with, again, 137, but I wanted to try the melting powder blush in that wine shade. I think it's very pretty. But I also wanted to show you the anniversary compact. It's fine. I could just wipe this off. It's fine. 20th anniversary collection, Spectrum of Beauty. Suqqu celebrates its 20th anniversary in 2023 with this milestone launch, a new collection, Spectrum of Beauty. This collection embodies Suqqu's values of promoting beauty that evolves with movement and daily life and incorporates seasonal ideas through Japanese aesthetics. It's an exquisite selection of limited edition products to mark a momentous anniversary. This is the eye and blush compact. Retails for 70 pounds, that's around $90. The palette contains 4 shades of eyeshadows to create different looks and a sheer blush that reveals the skin's natural beauty. And we have different formulas here for the eyeshadow. So we have a high pearl formula, capturing light for a metallic shine. I think this is pretty new for Suqqu. Look how shiny that is. When I applied this yesterday, I was like, oh snap. The other pearl formula, this is more of like a pink copper shade. Isn't that lovely? I didn't realize we have a cream formula, a clear cream formula which adheres well and adds a fresh luster, so you can apply this solo or underneath for more adherence for the pearl shades. And we have our matte formula with a hint of shadow and a polarized pearl shimmer that produces a vivid color with dimension and depth. And you could use the blush shade around the eyes as well. So if you wanted to use this on the cheeks, you can, or also to blend out the matte shade. I requested the orange palette. There are 2. You have the orange palette and the pink palette. Orange is 101. Toko Gasane, an orange palette that offers a healthy and modern look with chic tones and exquisite shades. And 102 Yume Saikiko is the pink palette. If you see the photos online, it had like a beautiful embossing here that I, of course, wiped away with the first application, but the nail gash is killing me. Taking out the Suqqu brush bag. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stay on brand. We have the Suqqu blush brush that is the original squirrel hair. Right now they're all synthetic. This is the orange blush. And it has nice color, right? It's very lightweight and it does have pearl in the formula. So you can brush it here a little bit on the cheekbones and it will deliver a little bit of sheen. But it's not gonna be like the craziest color payoff, right? If you wanted a little more color payoff, you might have to dip into your other Suqqu blushes. Like for instance, I'm gonna plop on 128. Is it 128? Let me double check. No. So many numbers. So yes, 128, but higher onto the hollows and have it move into the anniversary orange shade, right? If you wanted a little more depth as well, if you're around my skin tone and complexion, you could totally do that. Because I know, like, I have Tomoshibi, which is a melting powder blush shade, and that has beautiful coloring, which I could use also if I wanted to kind of like, you know what, Tomoshibi, where are you? We found her. I'm gonna toss a little bit, and love that the compact has a mirror and the beveled lining here with the gold mirror, magnetic opening. We love to see it. I'm gonna toss a little Tomoshibi here on the regions or outer portions of my face and have a little bit more over was 128. There we go. There we go. We're getting some color back. We're getting it back. Pull some here around the jawline. Yes. I also have the Suqqu primer. This feels very creamy. When I had applied it yesterday and the day before when I filmed round one of this demo, I do like how it feels under Suqqu shadows so far, because that's what I've been mainly playing with. But you see, when it blends out, it does so translucent wise, so it doesn't leave any color behind. It has like a soft creamy texture to it, right? So it does, I think, add a nice base to whatever you're about to go in with. If you want to see this cream in action, it is very lightweight, right? So there's not going to be a lot of coloring. It's actually quite tacky, yeah? So if you wanted, you could apply that first and you see some coloring there. I think if you apply it in this tap manner, then that's where you'll find the most color payoff. But I wouldn't rely on this for longevity, right? This is not going to last long on the eyes simply because of the type of formula it is. It is a cream. But I think this sets up the pearl shades beautifully well. So that is going to pull forward a lot more color and plenty of shine. So I'm just tapping that in and around. I'm using a Tonsedo brush. This is my Kolinsky brush, which can be used with creams and liquids. My Suqqu brushes, although there is a synthetic one now, I don't have it, but the ones I have are all gray squirrel, and gray squirrel not ideal to be used with cream products. So I had to switch, do a little switchy switch, but I'm just tapping here in and under the crease to form the color, and look how beautiful that is. Yeah, the shine's amazing. And again, applying that cream base first, I think helps with the adherence of things. Now we can, let me see here, what I got. I could do a little bit of the Suqqu shader, right? Because we're primarily just hitting the inner corner. So it's not going to interact so much with the cream, so we're gonna be all right. But look at that shine. This from Suqqu, like even on camera, look how shiny that is. My gosh, look at the brush. How the particles look. So much different color pearl here. And I'm just tapping that on the inner part of the lid. I'm also taking it a little bit here on the lower inner lash line, just feathering it out. And to complete the look, we could go in, I think, with a squirrel brush because we're primarily hitting the crease, so taking up this matte shade. And I prefer gray squirrel because it's a lot softer and will deposit just enough color, right? I don't think it will overwhelm the skin. And I'm just whipping it out here, carefully shaping the outer edge of my crease and not interacting too much with that pearl shade, the copper pink one on the lid, as I don't want the particles to fall. But we did get a little fallout here from that initial application when I went in with my Tonsil brush, and it's fine, it's fine. I'm just making sure there's enough here through the crease to carry that pearl color a little higher. And of course, pulling that matte shade here 3/4 in. And the item description did say that we can use the blush for the eyes. So feel free to feather the edges even more with this lighter orange shade so you could create a more pronounced gradient so it doesn't stop abruptly. But this matte shade is soft enough where if you wanted to take it higher without the blush shade, you most certainly can. And I think the end result will still appear soft and finish. We're taking this nifty little guy. It's like a slanted shader brush. Appropriate now with this pink copper shade. I'm pulling it all the way through so it can meet up with the matte moment we had on the outer third. I'm actually taking a little more of this shiny pink shade. It's like a seashell pink, but it's so bright. It's so shiny. I love it. All right, we got orange eyes. Yes, yes, yes. And now I wanted to go in with the face powder. Let's see here. The 20th anniversary face compact. 50 pounds, that's around $63 USD. A powder compact that represents the spectrum of reflection in an abstract three-dimensional pattern to give a beautiful glow. Suqqu's new proprietary 3D printer with decorative technology is used for the first time in the creation of face compact. Let me see. Oh, there it is. There it is. Isn't that beautiful? That's insane. The 3D pattern depicts the spreading trajectory of light for a powder that gives skin radiance, eliminates dullness, and naturally improves skin tone. This comes in 3 colorways. I requested 101. That is Harutsuya, the bright and natural glow formulated primarily with gold toned pearls for a lively impression. We also have 102 Benetsuya, that is the soft and dewy complexion with pink pearls, and you have 103 Sukkitsuya, a translucent glow primarily with white pearls. That might have been like the lavender looking one, but I'm not entirely sure. With my Suqqu blush brush again, this is where I'm going in and finishing everything that has been applied, and just look at that soft glow effect on the skin. And this is the powder I would use to set the Suqqu foundation. That's pretty. It doesn't have shimmer highlight, but it has that soft focus finish, which sometimes I prefer to have, not gonna lie. At times when doing my makeup, I do want highlight to have a distinction between highlight, color, and some shading, but I don't want it to look overly crazy and in your face, in my face. But this powder is lovely. It's soft. It doesn't have a lot of color, but see that radiance, right? And I think it just translates beautifully when applied all over in this manner, and appropriate to wear with the foundation, as it doesn't dull the foundation at all. It just gives it a little more set, but soft in texture. It doesn't look cakey in finish. And again, it's gonna provide that radiance that's more lively to the complexion. It has a little bit of vibrancy, not in terms of the color, but just in terms of the effect. That's pretty. All right, let's put on some lashes. And I have this Suqqu Sheer Matte Lipstick in standby. There were the rich lipsticks that released with the autumn winter collection in July, but I was not sent those because again, I was just late in contacting Aya. But those look to be like more rose tony in nature. And for the 20th anniversary release, you have lip kits. Those retail for $140 USD, and it's expensive because the kit contains 4 full-size Suqqu lip products: a lip fluid fog, a treatment wrapping lip, a sheer matte lipstick, one of these, and a moisture-rich lipstick. And they're different shades. So the lip fluid fog is a cherry plum. The treatment wrapping lip is a hydrangea color with a clear sparkle. Oh, that sounds pretty. The sheer matte lipstick, it says, rich and mellow hue inspired by the beautiful autumnal scene in foliage. Sign me up. it represents autumn, okay? The Moisture Rich lipstick is a lip color that gives a dewy finish in a deep shimmering red. So there you go. I have the Sheer Matte in 104. So let me apply that on screen here. I haven't used this lipstick yet. It's a fresh bullet. But I thought it looked pretty cool with what we got going on in the eyes. I could do this. I could do this. I know it's dark, but it kind of works. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe. Hold on. I like that color. I didn't like how it looked with the orange. So we're gonna try 07. What was that I just applied then? Oh, 104. 104. 07 is a little more warm. It's still pretty dark on me. That's better. Okay, we picked the right lipstick shade. Let's slap on some lashes and I'll be right back. Oh my heavens, I just realized that for the majority of the video, I did not have my glam core light on. I primarily relied on natural light, which might be fine, right, for the swatches and all that, but the final look you see here, I do have my glam core light just so you can see a little bit of the radiant finish from the face powder, or excuse me, the Anniversary Face Compact Powder, as well as the Anniversary Eye and Blush Palette, but specifically the Suqqu foundation as well. And here you can see, although the center of my face is lighter than my shoulders, applying Tomoshibi, a little bit of 127 from the previously released Autumn Winter collection, I think from last year, and having the light orange blush from the eye and cheek compact from the 20th anniversary collection, I thought add nice brightness to the skin, right? Remember when I was saying how in my top 5 blush video, I don't know about corals and oranges and whatever's for the wintertime. It can work. Maybe better for autumn, but I think the more muted color from the eye and blush palette works well on my skin. It is on the lighter side, right? So if you are deeper than me, it's probably going to be more of a highlighter on you, or even more of a brow bone highlight, and something you can primarily just rely on for the eyes. And the eye look overall, because there's just that desaturated orange matte from the 4, the final look is going to be monochromatically warm and orange. But I just adore this pearl formula, especially for the inner corner. My gosh. And I do like that there is a cream in the compact. Again, I wouldn't rely on it just for a single one and done look, because I think the texture will wear quite quickly and it won't last long on the lids, even with the primer. The primer though, I do like the Suqqu primer. I will use it more often. I don't have Pat McGrath's primer. I have not ordered it yet because, again, I'm trying to wait for a sale. Okay, and not just order that from the Pat website and have to pay, I don't know, like $10 shipping. I don't even know what the rates are, but again, the primer texture is quite nice, is soft, is translucent, is not dry like silicone types of primers like the Linda Hellberg primer till the end. It has more like that silicone-y feel to it. This has more of like a cream finish to it, but it's still very soft on the lid. And the foundation, so this is my 3rd time applying it. Did so on camera. Yesterday I applied it for my day. The day before, when I did my chaotic Suqqu first take, I applied it as a first impressions. Suqqu foundation has never failed my expectations. And this was before the black jar version, right? I had tried their jar foundation before the black jar reiteration and I adored it. The cream foundation in the black jar, fantastic. This one, no less. It's just magic in a jar. And I wanted to speak quickly on the whole skincare and makeup fusion side of things, where Suqqu especially loves to infuse skincare benefits into their makeup. Even though I'm no longer using skincare, I long abandoned the skincare expectations from makeup even before I started skin sobering, because at the time I would rely on my skincare regimen for the brightening in the evening and the moisture. I'm no longer doing that, but it's nice to know, because I'm not applying skincare morning and night anymore, that whatever oils and moisture, what have you, that I now apply on my skin for the day, it will fare quite nicely. I do prefer, however, because the last 2 times I applied this foundation, it was without moisturizer, and on this demo, I applied it with the Allies of Skin Peptide Moisturizer. I much prefer it on top of a moisturizer. for sure, because when you don't use skincare, your skin is a little drier. I could have went in with a little bit of Vaseline. That stuff works wonders as well. So, you know, because eventually I'm going to run out of the skin peptide moisturizer. We're not going to have any more of that. And I think that is an appropriate base to wear under this Suqqu foundation. And as you saw, a little goes a long way. It's creamy, it's smooth, it moves well on the skin when blending. It is insanely satisfying to blend out. I don't know why. I can't even tell you, but the way it just fuses with my skin texture and also color, it's amazing. It's definitely, Suqqu has nailed like skin on, for me, the medium tan part of the spectrum. Yellow beige is a thing. I really like it. Without me looking too orange either, and although it is a little light for me now, it still works. Again, when I introduce a little bit of blush into the mix, adjust the color, it's all good to go. And again, with the eye and blush compact, I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Sans the nail gash. I like the orange colorway. The pink one looked really nice. I was tossing between the two when I was emailing with Aya, and I'm like, oh, which one should I get? I just go with the orange because this is, you know, it's just so pretty. But the standout product for me, I gotta say, is the Anniversary Face Compact. This powder is lovely to just place all over the skin and to set the foundation a little bit, but without dulling the finish. You know what I mean? It's so lightweight, and I love it under the eyes. If I wanted to take like my Towel House brush and just apply more here, it doesn't dry out the under eyes whatsoever. It just adds a little luminosity, some radiance to, without taking away the color. And again, see this natural occurring highlight that could be from the pearls from the eye and blush compact, right? Because that blush does have a little pearl in there. So in combination with the face compact, match made in heaven. So that is my roundup thoughts for the Suqqu foundation and the 20th anniversary collection. Again, Suqqu is a luxury Japanese brand. The pricing is high, super luxe products, but man, one of those things where every time I use Suqqu, it forces me to just downsize my wish list for other makeup items. That I don't have anything against cardboard. I mean, some of Mother's holiday collection, all of her holiday collection comes in cardboard, right? There's just something about the packaging, the intention, the thoughtfulness that goes into Suqqu products. They are just so elegant and sophisticated with their approach, and you could feel it, you could experience it when you use their products. It's extraordinary, and especially with any type of complexion product they release, it's just, I don't know what to say. I understand that a lot of foundations out there right now are exquisite, right? What it comes down to, I think, is really which brand will deliver your best match in terms of color and undertone, right? Because across the board, the textures and the finishes, they're nailing it. The brands are nailing it. Foundation no longer appears like heavy caked up stage makeup, okay? They are continually advancing the technology with what they rely on to produce these skin-like finishes with foundation, with complexion makeup, and it is not stopping. It will only continue to improve. The Suqqu, however, it's like on next level. And in terms of the wear, which is what I think they excel in terms of how it looks initially, yes, wonderful, but how it wears over the course of several hours. Does your complexion look dull? Does the coloring look off? Does it oxidize? No, not at all. It will only look better. And I think that's something we are all looking into a foundation for, relying heavily on. If we have to keep makeup on all day for a good portion of the day and not have to worry about retouching and putting on some more, how do we look? Are we looking real orange? I don't know. The Suqqu will not do that. It absolutely will not do that. If you already have a foundation that you are in love with in texture and in skin match, fine, you might not need the Suqqu. If you haven't tried Suqqu foundation and it's in your budget, Okay, I think it's worth the shot. I think it's worth the try. And also shout out to the Suqqu counter over at Selfridges. Email them, ask questions, maybe ask for a sample because they are there to help you. They realize it is tough to skin match online. It is impossible. So with their guidance, they might help you with the samples or try to nail a match if you just want to buy a jar. Wing, one of the associates, was so kind to keep, oh my gosh, you'll see this in a YouTube short, but I have requested the 2 limited edition shades for the liquid lusterized or the luster liquid eyeshadows. I failed to reply for like a month when they told me they had the payment link ready, and I on a whim was like, do you still have these? And I thought they were gonna say no. No, they were like, they're here. Payment link on the way. I'm like, oh my gosh. But again, email the Suqqu team if you would like to try the foundation, but you have no idea which shade to get. Maybe they can help find the shade based on shades you have from other brands. That's something that they can do. But overall, yes, 040 is a little light for me now, but I think the color match is dead on for how I would look in the autumn winter season, and maybe it will add a little warmth when we're deep into it, you know what I'm saying? Let me know down below what your thoughts are, if you're going to grab the Suqqu foundation, if you're skipping, if you're going to grab any of the pieces from the 20th anniversary Spectrum collection. I will see you down in those comments, fam, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, Suqqu extravaganza, or on a YouTube short where you can see the Suqqu lusterized and quads in action. Take care, and I will see you again soon.